Signs of progress in fiscal cliff negotiations could bring much-needed relief to companies in 2013. Joining me with his take, David Hole, CEO of cosmetics company Mary Kay. Thank you so much for joining us, David. We really appreciate you being here today.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Well, House Speaker John Boehner, Republican Speaker John Boehner, says they may consider tax increases on millionaires. How important is it for your company that they reach an agreement?
Well, not so much about the millionaires, but I think it's definitely important for them to reach an agreement on the fiscal cliff. We are a microcosm of the United States in terms of we have 600,000 representatives all throughout the U.S., and they all care about it. And the fact that if they don't get the fiscal cliff solved, their disposable income will go down, and disposable income is what helps drive our business.
So how badly would your business be hit if they didn't reach a compromise?
It wouldn't be hit tremendously in that sense, because if people don't make as much money, if they're paying more in taxes, they're also more motivated to go make more money. And not that every person turns immediately goes, hey, we need to sell Mary Kay, but there are more people out there that are looking to generate extra income, and direct selling, and in particular Mary Kay, is a great way to do that.
So where do you see the growth level? Where do you see growth being in 2013, or where would you like to see it?
Well, I'd love to see it in our home market in the U.S., and we've been growing a little bit the last couple of years. But our two big growth markets has been Brazil in terms of percentage, and in terms of just overall dollars, it's definitely in Asia Pacific and in China. China's our most important market internationally for us.
And are you worried about the slowdown in China since it's your -- 2 market?
Yeah, I mean, you get paid to worry about lots of different things. But for us in China, we've seen a little bit of a slowdown, but we've been growing in high double digits for a long time. And some of it may be the economic slowdown. Some of it may be the fact that the closer you get to $1 billion, the law of large numbers, it's hard to grow at 10, 20%. So we have seen a little bit of a slowdown, but we're still growing and we're still happy with our business there.
And what are your growth plans for China?
Well, we're in a lot of the Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities. We're also in the Tier 3 cities. We're making a bigger push to go into the Tier 4 cities in China and penetrate more deeply in the Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. The competition is also doing the same thing. There's a lot of people that are going out, but we like to think we have a head start, and because we've been there for a while. Plus we have 700,000 consultants in China. And so that's kind of our brand and our brand image, and that's another way how we can penetrate throughout China.
And will China be your #1 market?
Yes, they will.
When do you see
They
that?
will most definitely pass the U.S. in 2013.
Okay.
Pretty confident on that.
Pretty confident, huh? And let's move over to some other emerging markets. Your competitor Avon is getting out of South Korea and Vietnam. Are these opportunity areas for you?
We are not in Vietnam. We've certainly looked at it and we'll continue to look at it. South Korea is definitely a great market for us. We've been there over 10 years now, probably closer to 15 years, and have done very well there. And we fully expect to continue to do well there.
And Avon is cutting 1,500 jobs. How are you avoiding job cuts?
Well, I can't speak for Avon in terms of why they're going through those cuts. For us, we've expanded a little differently around the world, I think, maybe. And so we've been leaner and meaner, maybe. So we don't have those jobs that are out there if we'd miss every single employee if they left the company, is the best way to put it.
And let me ask you, so they actually cut jobs because of higher production costs and unfavorable exchange rates and difficulties in Brazil, the U.S., and Russia. Can you expand a little bit more on how you're going to avoid those issues, since you have a bit of a similar selling model?
Yeah, we have, we're in a lot of those similar markets. Brazil, we're still new enough and small enough compared to an Avon that we're still growing, almost 100% a year. So we need everybody we can have over there. We operate a little differently in how we've expanded, and we've been centralized at the headquarters, and then when we get into a market, we'll decentralize just a little bit. And so we've just been able to avoid it. We really haven't had any layoffs at Mary Kay, and don't expect to have any either, because our business is growing.
What about plans for hiring globally?
Definitely, you know, we're expanding a lot in China. We're expanding the existing manufacturing plant we have there. We're coming up with a central distribution center there. We're building a color plant there. So we are definitely hiring, and a lot of it's overseas, but clearly in the United States, we've been hiring a lot, particularly around social media, digital marketing, social media, and in our plants, because we're growing.
Well, we're going to have to end it on that note, and thank you so much for joining us today.
All right. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Our thanks to David Hall, CEO of Mary Kay. I'm Elizabeth Carrazza. This is Reuters.